Well, hello there, good evening, and welcome. This is Strong and Sassy on your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM. And we've missed you guys so much. It's been 2 weeks. We had football last week, so we weren't here. It was so difficult being away from you. So difficult.
Hey.
But anyway, we thank God. Like Shakespeare said, parting is such sweet sorrow because we know that there shall be a re something. I don't think that's
Wow.
how Shakespeare said it, but I mean, I'm sure you get the spirit. Anyways, welcome. This is Strong and Sassy. So the last time that we had a show, we talked about toxic masculinity, and there were so many messages about the fact that if we're talking about toxic masculinity, then maybe we should explore the toxic side of femininity as well, if there even is some toxicity when it comes to femininity. So my name is Animwaa Anim-Addo. We're live and interactive, Facebook, Twitter. Our WhatsApp lines are open as well, 055 1111997, 055 So I have the two usual suspects in the studio with me tonight. It was the three of us who had the conversation on toxic masculinity. So I thought, why not bring them back and let's flip it over and talk about toxic femininity. So Adipa is joining us.
Thank you.
Please say hello to your fans.
Hello. Or you're expecting something more?
No, it's fine. Can you? And of course, that's Esinam who comes. Her phone is on. Something's ringing. Something is Anytime you hear any sort of thing like that, you know that Miss Batali.
This is so not fair.
This is so you though. Who else's phone has rung?
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking truth to power. What you said, she was the spirit speaking to the church, right?
Yes.
Now the church is speaking back to the spirits. All right, so Adipa and Esinam are here. We're going to have a conversation about toxic femininity. Please feel free to join. We'd love to hear what you think. So, should we start with exploring what femininity is before we get into the toxic side of it?
Okay.
So over to you.
Okay. I think that essentially
What's the question,
femininity is
Asiana?
just being a woman, the state of being a woman.
No,
Like-
that's not the one I meant. I meant
What do you mean?
feminism, the other one.
But feminism is not what we're talking about. Is
Yeah,
it?
but let's start from there because when we were talking about the toxic masculinity, we also kind of talked about feminism.
Okay.
So and feminism can be kind of at the extremes. And then
Okay.
femininity is underlying all of that. So let's talk about that because I think that kind resonates more in the conversation than just being a woman.
Let's start with that.
Okay, Adipa, Isinam said I should start with you.
Okay, so I think the other time that we talked about masculinity, we established from the onset that there is masculinity because of feminism, actually. Because the feminism movement or the feminist movement started this whole idea about toxicity or masculinity. So the whole idea about the movement was to expose patriarchy. It's like, the world is built around men. Everything is built around men, and men control, men lead, men do this, men do that. So there was, let's say, a general rebellion for women to be independent, sort of. So the right to vote, the right to work.
To drive even.
Yes, in some
countries,
the right to drive.
The right to be able to go out in public alone.
Yes, alone
unchaperoned.
and all that. So that has been going on. But it's because of that movement that we got to see that some men are over-exerting their patriarchy, or they are over-exerting their powers as men, and they are going beyond what is ordinarily socially accepted. They are becoming abusive, they are becoming controlling, and they don't give the other gender the chance to grow and flourish in a natural environment. So that has been the basis. So feminism has been a movement that started around the 80s, thereabout, and now it's picked up. But at a point, it became kind of a radical movement.
Extremist, yeah. a
Yes.
little
So you
bit.
had people or females actually standing up and saying all manner of strong things, you know, some challenging marriage. I mean, questioning this whole idea of marital submission. Why should you submit to a man and all and all? So we've had that school of thought as well. Those who think that as a woman, you are so independent, you were created like a man, and you don't need a man to survive. So we have those radicalists, and we have the liberals who think, yes, our right to, everybody's right is enshrined in the same constitution as it were. So you shouldn't be earning more rights than I do. Let's be fair. If it is good for the goose, it must be good for the gander. So they are the liberals. It's like, let's not overdo it.
Okay.
And I'm happy that I think gradually females are coming, or feminists are coming to a consensus that it's not about equality, it's about equity. Because regardless of what we do, this equality thing is a bit dicey, it's difficult. But when we are asking for equity, then it means what is due us, give it to us. We are not almost like equal, but give us what is due us. So all these nuances have been under the feminist, you know, movement and feminism and all. But this whole idea of toxic femininity is very, very recent. In fact, from my research, that word, that phrase actually came around 2018. So it's just a baby, unlike toxic masculinity. And it's come up because I think the world kept on responding to this whole idea of toxic masculinity. And then people started asking questions
about toxic femininity. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that maybe the older form of toxic femininity is toxic feminism.
Yes.
Which has kind of, you know,
Yes, evolved.
maybe changed titles into
Yes.
to match the toxic
Yeah.
masculinity. But I also feel like maybe inherently it's almost the same thing that
It's almost
we're
the
talking
same.
about.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So Islam, do you wanna come into the conversation?
Let's go into the toxic part.
Okay. Are you shying away from the what do you think about feminism? Don't run away.
Okay.
I know your Twitter people will come for you. But
Oh.
be strong, be brave.
Oh, I am brave 24/7. The idea of feminism, right? For me, it's about common sense. That, okay, what you want to be done to you, you do it to another person. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you.
So
So,
you're quoting the Bible a lot more these days, which
so
is just so amazing and just.
today you came
Jesus,
for me, eh?
hallelujah.
You
I
came
come
for
you
me.
every Wednesday.
Okay, I have to find your plan.
Oh, go ahead.
So, to me, it's about being able to say that or point out that this thing you're doing is wrong. This thing you're doing, you have the right to do that because you are a man. You are privileged, sort of. The way we say there is white privilege,
privilege.
there is man
Male privilege.
male privilege as well. And most often, like Adipa said, people tend to abuse it because they have that privilege. Now, if I don't call you out on the privilege and the fact that other women don't enjoy the same privilege that you are enjoying, I think that's what feminism came to balance, so that women also get to enjoy the privileges of being a human being, because essentially the privileges men are enjoying are privileges of being a man, of being a human being.
yeah.
And but for women, it's like those privileges have been taken away by society over time. So there was a consensus effort to control women, to, you know, make sure that women didn't have the capital, the financial capital. Even if they worked for it, they had to, you know, go through their fathers or go through their husbands
Brothers, or, yeah.
before they were able to get
Some
to
sort of economic independence.
you know,
even,
independence, creating your own company. You couldn't do it on your own. You couldn't buy land. You couldn't essentially do a lot of things as a woman. Those privileges were taken away from us. So I think feminism came for us to get back those privileges, to draw your mind to the fact that, oh, men can do this, but women can't do this. Why? You know, men have access to this, women don't have access to this. Why?
Yeah.
And, you know, to constantly question people, and then to also give women the information that you have a choice to make. A lot of us grow in this society thinking that we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, it's either you're getting married, you're having kids. We are not told that there's an alternative, that
You can choose,
you can
not,
choose
to
not
get
to.
married.
You can choose not to be
have
married, not
kids.
to have kids. So there were lots of you're supposed to, and that's rules and regulations, guidelines that was put down for women is the reason feminism came to point out all the lapses in that current system, and it gets toxic for me in a different way than what Adepa was saying,
which is fine. I mean, we'll explore the two different sides.
Which we'll explore very soon. But essentially, that's what I think.
I remember, I mean, growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, when the whole feminism movement, really had a lot of voice, and there were so many things that women were fighting for that were so good.
Yeah.
For example, the fight against female genital
mutilation
was such a big thing
Yes.
at that time, because it was exactly there. Some of those
child marriage,
that sending your children, your daughters to school, child marriage and things like that. But it seems as if as the years have gone by and maybe we've won some of those fights, the feminist movement seems to have taken a new direction. Which sometimes you are not too sure exactly what it is looking like, because if we're going to talk about toxic femininity, then you see women fighting for the right to almost misbehave in a certain way without any consequences, or wanting to live outside of the rules. And calling it femininity, or saying, we're women, we're strong, so we're going to live outside of the rules. And yes, I agree that sometimes the rules don't always make sense.
The rules are different from men than women.
Exactly, the rules. I wanted to fire you. You see, now you're fired.
The rules are different from
my job is done
from men than women.
Of course, yeah.
In our society, a man can easily be forgiven for cheating. People would just look.
I think in our society, when men cheat, it's not even something that they have to be forgiven for.
Is that right?
It's like
it's like a
right
given.
Yeah.
It's okay. Oh, my dear.
I remember I was in a group of people, and they were talking about a woman came to pass, and the guys were like, "Oh, Charlie, this girl's body is nice." So, and then a guy came to pass, and I intentionally raised. I was like, "This guy is really fit. Like, wow, really, really." And they were like, but so you people to you, they look men." And I think it was even Victoria Renze, the gospel musician, who said that men seem to think that women don't have passions. Or that we look at men and we don't feel anything.
They've been all overlooked. Like, you don't have the right to have passion,
my point is that the same feelings you have are the same feelings we have, but somehow women are supposed to act very demure and very proper.
That is the toxicity part of it. So for femininity, toxicity, or whatever we are talking about right now, it's about passivity. Like the social norms are created for you to fit in.
Yeah.
So you must fit in. So it doesn't matter what you are sacrificing to fit in. So they are asking you to fit in. So a woman must dress this way. A married woman must look that way.
And
any other thing. Hey,
but you know what is interesting?
You are married.
Mommy,
wait.
Me waiting.
You are married and you are still there. You don't want to give birth. Hey, so you are 35 and you are not married.
Coming from women.
Gatekeepers. That is the challenge, and that is where the toxicity is. So it's not merely because we are women or females, or there's feminism and there are issues with it, or we are trying to be assertive or to climb the ladder of success and all. No, it's the social norms that we are expected to fit in. So for instance, you are a female boss, all right, and your colleagues or your subordinates are, not up to the task. You stamp your authority and they go like, my boss is there, sir. But that same action will happen in an office led by a man, and they go like, a man is supposed to correct. So even if the man looks on,
or the employers are even better behaved under male leadership than under female leadership.
Exactly. That is the toxicity part that we are talking about.
But you know what breaks my heart is that there's almost no safe space for women, because in every gathering, women have to have behaved a certain way, whether it's church, whether it's the mosque, or I think
it's
even
crazy.
whether it's any religious organization, whether it's work, whether it's in a restaurant, whether it's in
You must so
everywhere.
there's a fit and proper form.
Even
for
in your
every,
home.
every
You are
Even
supposed
in your
to be a
home, you are
certain
supposed to be
way.
a certain way.
So submission, you are supposed to submit in a certain way.
You are supposed to dress a certain way.
In fact, you are not
speak
supposed
a certain
to
way.
even have sexual desires. Your desires must be cordoned in a certain way. Your dressing must be in a certain way. Your language and your posturing towards the man in the house must be defined in a certain way. Any other form of it is you are disrespectful, or you are going overboard, or
Yeah.
So that is the toxicity part. So they have, like, the society, the patriarchal society has actually drawn a box
A roadmap.
for women, and we have
I
to fit
dare
in.
say drawn more by women than men.
They are drawn
That's
more
the
by.
point.
See, widowhood rights are perpetuated by women. Men don't do.
Women. So essentially, toxic femininity is women restricting the access to choice for other women.
Thank you.
They put you in a certain box. You're supposed to be a certain way. You're supposed to behave a certain way. And the word supposed to is thrown about anyhow. You're supposed to give birth. You're supposed to get married. You're not supposed to do anything. What we do, or what we attempt to do, is to provide you with the information to know that these are the choices available
Or
for
these
me.
are the consequences.
And
for
these are the
actions.
consequences for each
Therefore,
choice.
yeah.
So choose your choice according to your life. I can't come and say that a woman is supposed to go to work and do this. No, it's her choice to make. Ultimately, I respect the power of choices. You have the right to choose how your life should be, and it shouldn't be determined by some presets society has given to you. So whoever stamps on those presets and makes it a must, stand on public platforms to, call out other women who aren't living in the way they are supposed to.
Exactly.
That is toxic
The
femininity.
house mistresses that we have in our society.
Yes.
Yes,
Senior house mistress.
I am telling you. Apologies to our house mistresses, but I mean they were supposed to be stern so that
Yeah, no, we know we're not talking
Yeah,
about
but-
our schools in
but yeah, but seriously, like somebody, I mean, an older female makes it her business to subtly control you without giving you the opportunity to even make a choice. Okay, so now that you are married, now the conversation starts because you are married.
Yeah, no, so
But
you
if
can't.
I
You
am
to
not
me,
married,
yes, Bium, you can't do this
Exactly.
anymore. You can't do this anymore. You can't do that.
Exactly. Cut off your friends, and it's like cut them off. Really?
The one that is very interesting is
About
that when
why
you get married,
yeah,
your
you
friends
don't
should be married.
You don't keep single friends.
Yeah.
And also by that way.
Oh, it's
It's always
there.
been there.
It's always been there. So you get
But
married
you see,
and
some of these things. Let's come home. Some of these things, you can almost understand
Where they were
coming from. Because when you get married and they tell you that, oh, keep your single friends away, it's because perhaps there have been so many stories where the single friend has come to
both
eat.
husbands.
But
But you see, that's the problem. There is you are making it my responsibility for my husband cheating.
well, yes, they're saying protect him. Then.
I should protect a man from making a choice.
thank you.
Or protect him because
No,
but
so-
also you are protecting your home because you are not bringing your
Animwaa.
ashawo friend into your house.
Animwaa. So you see, that is another very, very subjective and toxic statement. Islam is my friend. I am married. She's not. Do you know the levels at which we talk? Do you know the ideas we share?
But she can still come and sue your husband.
Omefai. That's a
Doesn't
choice.
he have a choice in the matter?
Yes,
he-
he
I-
was
What's
sitting
there?
there.
No.
Looking
I'm
at
just
me.
I'm not defending it all. I'm just saying that you can understand where some of these pieces of advice came
Yes,
from.
but you see, they are pieces of advice, but very laced.
Another one. if you are a career woman and you're always traveling and stuff, they say that if you keep on traveling, you keep on being busy, somebody will come and take care of your home.
So you shouldn't be busy.
So don't be too.
So don't work.
So don't work, but
you
don't
know,
be too busy.
Yes, so the 8 to 5 is okay for you.
Yeah,
So
but
you
my
leave
husband can travel
yes.
for as many weeks
Yes.
as he
Yeah.
can.
But you have
8
to
to
be
5.
home because of that. I mean, these are the things. And you almost understand the fear with which this advice is given.
Yes.
It's because the accountability is placed on the woman than the man.
To keep the home.
You know how most of the time when a man cheats, the question that the woman is asked is, so what were you not doing?
What
or
did
what
you
did
do
you do?
wrong?
Dear now, were you not doing this?
Exactly.
Were you not doing that?
Exactly. So that's where it's coming from. So when we start holding men accountable for their actions, we know that no matter how many weeks your wife leaves you, if you don't want to cheat, you won't cheat. You won't say that another person came to my home to take care of me while my wife was away on a business trip.
What is the whole taking care of me thing about?
You see, so that's the traditional gendered role we've put on a
Exactly.
woman. We both decided to be in a relationship, whether boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. We both decided. It was a mutual decision made by adults to be here. Okay, we are here, and now you say it is my sole responsibility to take care of you so that you don't go out of the marriage or you don't go out of the relationship. What about me? So all these traditional gendered roles that we've put on the woman's head, is the woman who keeps the home. So it means the man has no responsibility at all to keep the home. You understand?
Yeah.
You have to keep your husband. So even if he's not making you completely happy or whatever, society is expecting you to condone.
endure.
To endure, and your ability to endure is what makes
makes
you
you a strong woman.
Yeah, suffering is your birthright.
Oh, I said this yesterday that Ghanaians glorify suffering so much.
Yeah, we do.
We would rather see a woman carrying a bucket of water with a baby at the back than we caption it strong woman.
Have you seen? There's a picture very similar to that. I have it on my phone. So a man walking with his wife. The wife is carrying the suitcase on her head, the baby at her back, another one on the arm, and then something in her arm. And it's like, yeah, this is the definition of
a strong
And you're
woman.
just wondering, wow. And so many times I see it. If we are driving by the street, you'll see a man and his wife. The woman is pregnant. She's carrying one of the children, holding the other. And the man is just walking at the side, jauntily. And I'm like, how did we get into this space where the value of a woman is really just how much pain she can endure? How much? Why is it like that?
It's
And why
because
is
of the
it like
society
that in
we've-
Africa a lot?
It's because of religion. It's religion, social cultural. It's a social cultural thing. We yesterday, Mr. Fitzbarfour was telling me that the African society that the white people came to meet was a society that really revered women, that placed premium on women, where we had women leaders, we had women opinion leaders, women who could talk, and things could be done. So with the influx of colonialism, everything changed. The society became a monogamous society, and you were supposed to be a certain way, and men were supposed to be a certain way, women were supposed to be a certain way. So with the introduction of religion, we started picking our way of life from religion and the cultural assimilation based on the colonial masters coming in and how they blended with us. So that's where we're coming from.
But it's interesting because when you go outside of Ghana, whether it's the UK or the US, it's not like that.
It's not like that. And even when Ghanaians,
they have their
we
issues.
copy blindly.
But,
Yes.
but they
But
definitely
Ghanaians,
have their
yeah, we
issues, and
copy
women all
blindly.
over the world are fighting.
Oh, definitely.
But it's not like that. You find that marriages are more balanced. There are lots more house husbands. There's a lot of support. I mean, I raised my my first daughter in the UK for a few years, and I mean, the balance in the home is my husband at the time coming home and bathing for her or changing nappies or was normal, because this is what everybody is doing. You go to the park, you see fathers with the pushchair, fathers with the children. But suddenly when you come to Ghana, it's almost like, the men don't really change the nappies. The men don't. So where did we learn it from?
The same thing that a Ghanaian man will do in the UK or in the US when he comes here to come and stay in this North Carnation or in this farm.
The same thing that black men do when they marry white women. When they marry black women, they don't do it.
Exactly. So it's just because of this. I will still attribute it to us as well. The kind of assimilation we get from the society. You understand? Because it's always said the black woman is this, the black man is that. So a black man marries a black woman, and already he has a misconception about the woman. All right? Because he has watched a few videos of black men, of his forefathers, and he saw a few things, and it's like, oh, black women are like that. Black women are always in the news for this or for that or for this or for that. Already he has his own misconception about the woman. It is because of how we've been sold. It's because of how we've been branded. And so before the man comes in, he's already settled on how he's going to manage you. And unfortunately, another woman will make it more difficult for him to
happen.
It's also because in relationships and marriage and stuff like that, at the very beginning, we don't come out that this is who I am. Like, I don't cook every day, I don't clean.
But
because
if you pretend, how will you get a man?
Exactly.
If you are yourself, how are you supposed to get a man?
That the women who are like that and declared at the beginning, they are there with their husbands. Their husbands understand.
Yes.
Like, my wife doesn't really care about what I'm eating this afternoon. Because she's running a Fortune 500.
I'm probably the one caring about what my wife will eat this afternoon, because I'm the one with more time, and she's very busy. I know her schedule is very crazy, so I'm making lunch for her.
So why can't we just be who we are?
Because even men around, their fellow men would chastise them for allowing and condoning a very free and liberal
unless you are with a group of men who are like-minded and
Yeah, but when you read around this toxic femininity, they will tell you that even when a woman is pregnant and she checks the gender, and it's a female, you realize that there is a kind of posturing towards the baby. She's more tender, because women are supposed to be tender. So, you become mommy's little Ginny, you become this. When it's a man, you become a strong man. So weakness is associated with a woman. Vulnerability is associated with a woman. Non-assertiveness is associated with a woman. A man is supposed to be strong. A man is supposed to be tough. And so once they are teaching us socially to be vulnerable, to be weak, they are teaching the men to be strong.
I have a question for Jesus.
Okay.
Basically, because I feel like, I'm not saying that this is his fault, but I'm saying, like, I feel like this is kind of his fault, and this would be a really good time for him to explain this to me so I understand. Because where the Bible said that live with the women according to understanding, because they are the weaker sex. I think that religion that's where that weakness has come from, that the interpretation of that live with the women according to understanding.
No, I am sure the men have adulterated it.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the interpretation. So that's what I'm saying. I have a question for Jesus, because I need him to explain to me exactly what he meant when he said that, because I know for a fact that physically, and I always make this argument. People say that men are strong. I believe that men are strong. They are strong. Let me finish.
They are physically strong.
They are physically strong.
I can't finish.
Go ahead.
They are strong. The birthing of a baby is like 197 bones in your body breaking.
Wow.
That is if you're measuring the pain, labor pain, 197 bones. In your body.
I read, not to cut you, but I read a research that said that childbirth is like having 2 heart attacks.
So I'm not for the physical strength argument.
Okay.
I get that men are strong, but I'm like, okay, what we go through having a baby is
Even
that kind of
menstruating.
pain is unparalleled. Women bleed for 7 days and they don't die. Do you know what I mean? I think if any other creature bled for 7 days, it will die. So in terms of strength, I'm not totally sold on the man is stronger, but I'm a Christian, so like I said, I need Jesus because I'm sure if we really understood, and I'm saying this because we interpret so many things that we do come from the Bible and the interpretations thereof that people have put on it. So maybe if we really understood what Jesus meant, because I feel like Jesus meant that they're the weaker sex in terms of, don't argue with them, don't stress them out, and he was maybe saying that so that the men will
Give them
be
baby
loving and
their
yeah. But like anyway, so I have a chat with Jesus and I'll get back to y'all on
Sure.
that.
We'll be happy to know.
You'll be happy to
Yes, but
okay.
I think this whole issue of women are the weaker sex statement,
because they've also translated into then women can't think properly, we can't
Yes,
make good
and
decisions.
you
It
see-
all comes from the weaker sex.
so that's why I'm saying that this whole toxicity is that you are supposed to be docile. You are supposed to submit.
You see,
in
the
a certain
docile
way.
also comes from Peter, where he said that, clothe yourself with a gentle and a meek spirit, which is what I'm just saying that these
I understand.
So I'm agreeing with your conversation yesterday that a lot of these things came from the interpretation.
The interpretation
Of
scripture.
religion.
Yeah, of scripture.
Yes,
Religion,
and
essentially.
and to create a balance from all the scriptures, not just the Bible, but from other sources. They also try to portray the woman as the weaker one, as the vulnerable one, and all, and that gives the man power, but it gives the women, some other women, power over their own people.
Yeah, those who have the real revelation of the strength of a woman, instead of channeling that to strengthen other women, then
They use it to break them.
Exactly, because if I can break you, then I am
Yes.
stronger.
Exactly.
As opposed to we are all strong.
Exactly.
Because it's really not easy to sit in a room full of strong women.
No.
It's easier if I'm the strong one and after every Wednesday with you people, I'm tired. Because you guys are like, no, you get what I mean. Like when strength meets strength, it's difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I have been for the fact that this whole female toxicity or feminine toxicity idea has actually been brought upon the woman by the woman.
Okay, so now let's talk about some of the things that women do that are really toxic, that we hide under.
Number one, taking away the power of choice from other people. Imposing your own your beliefs, because ultimately every human being has their own set of beliefs, set of values, and so if you have your values, let it be that your values. Don't impose it on other people. So when you go as far as saying you are supposed to behave this way, you are supposed to live this way, you are supposed to do that, you are supposed to do this, you are supposed to do that, not in an encouraging way, even it is to call you out and say, hey, in 5 years, that kind of, you are supposed to have given birth by now, but you don't know the person's plans. You don't know their goals. You don't know what's going on with them.
You don't know whether the man is shooting blanks.
You really don't know what's going on. So being the person who tells people you're supposed to be a certain way, you're supposed to be this or that and that is when you are toxic. That's the number one thing for me of somebody who is toxic. The number two thing of somebody who, or toxic femininity, is when the proper gatekeeping, the not just philosophical or maybe childbirth or something, but even with the small things, like people who are policing people's dressing, people who are policing people's way of life. Everybody has a choice to make, and every action has a consequence. So no matter what the person is doing, no matter what choice the person is picking, the person is ready to learn the consequences and live by it. You're not the one to call out the consequences for the person and say, okay, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. According to who?
Okay.
Do you know what is even annoying me lately?
What?
The social media trolls. the slut,
Slut shaming,
body
shaming.
You
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 see,
will
it is-
lose weight.
It is pushing women to do the unimaginable just to fit, because a woman is supposed to look like this. This is the perfect woman.
And funny enough, the definition of perfect has changed over time.
But there was a time when skinny and square was fashionable.
Was
there
the
a time
perfect one. High
fatness and
cheekbones and-
roundness. Oh, how we long for those days when fatness and roundness was. But now, I mean, with the Kardashian era,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So the slut shaming and the body shaming, the belittling, in an environment where there are other females, somebody makes it her preoccupation to consistently belittle others, without giving them the chance.
I think most of them are threatened though.
Without letting them know that you can start from zero and build. We all came here not knowing what to do. We were taught somehow by somebody. So be my pupil. No. They end up, and you don't know how to do anything. And when we say type this, you can't type. And when we say do this, you can't do. No. That is so toxic. And then unhealthy competition. That's kind of unhealthy competition that happens. It's in church, Today, Mama Araba is wearing this
gold. Next week I'll show her. I'll wear black.
Thank you.
And with gold
Thank you.
accessories so that you know.
Per whose definition of fashion? You understand what I'm saying? And then when you come into our societies, when, for instance, my apologies to widows, but when somebody loses their husband, the whole procedure about widowhood rights is so different from when a man loses his wife. A man loses his wife, 6 months later, he says, I'm not wearing black again. It's sorted. And they are encouraging him to remarry. A man of, I'm saying a woman,
it's
a man
not
of
just
40.
it's widowhood and divorce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, a man at 40 has his wife dying, and just around 6 months, everybody's going like, oh, worry. Then a woman at 40 has...
No. You have to grieve for 50
You have to wait.
years.
Yes.
You have to
and,
grieve.
Or
and
better yet, never.
yes,
Grieve
and
forever.
and you are on your phone, and then your former mother-in-law is... And or phone is on the phone is so what could me baby? That yes,
Yeah.
it is that bad.
Yeah.
You see, when a woman grows old, she becomes a witch. But when a man grows old, he doesn't become a
He
wizard.
becomes a wise man.
Safely and wise.
He's
Yes.
a wise man.
He's a wise man. But a woman is thrown into a
A
witch
woman
camp.
is a witch.
Wow.
You understand?
Oh, we've not even talked about the toxic part of, I want the sugar baby girl lifestyle 24/7. I want somebody who will take care of me, who will be my, whatever I want, they should give me 24/7. I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to do any work. That's also taking advantage of femininity and feminism
Yeah.
in a negative way.
Yes.
And saying I won't work.
I won't
support
work.
the
Yes.
family,
I won't support
do
my
anything.
family. I will leave all the responsibility on the man because he is supposed to be the man. You are encouraging toxic masculinity.
Yes.
When you are an enabler for toxic masculinity, you are toxic
Because they
female.
coexist. Where there is this, there is that.
If you teach your male children that a man is supposed to be strong and not cry, you are toxic.
You're encouraging him to hold it.
bottle up his
A few weeks
emotions
ago,
and
there was an article about the fact that a lot more men are committing suicide than
Yes.
women, and there was a whole
Right,
conversation about
right.
it. And for me, it was such a straightforward thing. A lot more men are killing themselves because they don't feel like they can talk about the things that they're going through.
Exactly.
They come and tell you that I'm sad, I'm depressed. You're like,
Hey,
what's
Nabema
this?
pa.
Why are you like this? But it's okay. I mean, they're human as well. I
Yeah.
mean, men have emotions, men have feelings. So
Yes.
why can't they express the way that they're feeling? But sometimes even we women, we don't give them the space to express how they feel.
Exactly.
We don't allow our children, our boys, to express how they feel, to cry. We don't. Like, you don't cry. You don't do. Why not? He's hurt.
Yes.
Why can't he cry? Like, I don't
Because
get
he's
it.
a man.
Because
He's
we have created.
I mean, doesn't mean
an
you should cry
idea.
too much.
But look at
Nobody is encouraged to cry too much.
I had a friend that when she and her husband had an argument and she's crying, then he would start crying. And the whole argument.
We both cry. We both
We are
cry.
both crying.
We both
But
cry.
that's what it's supposed
Today
to
cry, we
be.
both
You understand?
cried.
That's where you find this toxicity in men, you find it in women.
Yep.
And as Isinam said, we literally perpetuate it. So we create the toxic men, and then they recreate us as toxic women. And then because we can't contain that toxicity, it's like acid. We pour it on others, and we corrupt them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we perpetuate it. So I have a policy. If I can't say anything nice and encouraging to you, I won't talk. And especially when you're a female, because somebody built me up
Yeah. So
from
why
scratch.
should you tear somebody down?
So I am always out for that new person, because somebody saw the raw me and said, I will take my time and shape her up. And it was a silent project of that person. That let me shape her up. She can be good. She can be better. I just need to do a few things. And I am here talking because somebody was intentional about me. By not tearing me down and breaking me because I came from a lowly place and I joined and I did that and I did that. Why must I be the one saying that you came from a lonely place? So, I mean, I'm going to tell you apart.
Why should I be the one who says that? Oh, your husband died a year ago, and you're getting married, so you're a bad woman. Why must you grieve? Why must you grieve more? What is wrong with the fact that you've lost the love of your life and you found somebody who makes the nights more bearable? Why is that a bad thing?
Yes. But we will be the ones perpetuating that.
Of course, sharp. Hey, you just let your husband know
the
you
most
got married. You
interesting
just
story I ever heard was that in the olden days, when you lost your husband, your sister-in-law will come with cradle.
what's cradle?
Oh,
Padlock.
to come and lock your beads. And she will keep the keys.
Hey,
yes.
Your sister-in-law.
Yes.
So the dead man's sister.
Yes. We'll come and lock it up. And
Right, because the spirit is still coming to shake
no,
the
so
beads.
that you don't go out.
Don't go out. They'll lock your beads.
They'll lock your beads.
Okay, you guys think, okay, it's fine.
You understand? Until such a time that the family thinks the grieving should be over, and
That
even
you are
then,
done.
even
The
then, they
family
have to
think it's okay.
negotiate whether you should marry again or you are DS.
Yes, that's what.
They has to own because they
Yes,
paid
to
bride
own,
price.
Wow.
Yes. So all these little cultures, though I can probably say that now it is not as bad because we've also been intentional legally to correct some of these toxicity that exists within our culture and our society. But we still have a long way to go.
What are some of the things that we're fighting for as women that you feel like we've kind of taken over the overboard?
Hey.
This equality, the equality bit was taken a bit overboard. That's my personal view.
I think it's the understanding of it. The call is not that men and women are the same. That's not what is being called for. But a lot of people understand it as we are
Why
saying.
does it bother people so much
that-
if we say that men and women are equal?
That's what I'm saying, because the understanding of it is men and women are the same. Now, the job that a man can do, can you do it? That if it's time to lift, if it's time to protect the family, can you do it? Because we've not
watched Lara Croft's Tomb Raider.
Exactly, because we've not understood that the right to be treated equally does not come from your physical abilities. We are asking that treat both of them equally. If you won't discriminate in one case, don't discriminate in the other.
But we also ask for a lot of is consensus the right word? We ask for things that maybe men don't ask for. We ask for things like maternity leave. We have times of the month when we're in pain.
If they gave birth, if one man gave birth, paternity leave would be 1 year. I kid you not. They did a test with the Try Guys on Facebook. They did a test, and all of them wore the pain patch, to sort of estimate how women feel when they're in their period. You should have seen it. They were screaming and they were all over the place, lying on the floor. I can't take this anymore. I can't bear it. So just imagine that women or men were able to give birth, they would find a way to make sure that paternity leave is a must. This is done, because they are they're the ones in the power calling the shots. You find that they said Viagra, the drug Viagra, was produced or manufactured as a result of men trying to find a solution to another thing, and they stumbled on Viagra.
Yeah.
You know, and if women's libido mattered, there would be a drug for women's libido. But there's no medicine for women to boost their libido. There's medicine for men to
They will
boost.
tell you to go and distress. You'll be fine.
There is
But when a
nothing-
man is having libido issues, the doctor must prescribe. But when you are a woman and you go and say,
Women,
I don't,
you can't
I don't,
even go to the doctor and say you have low libido. Hey, so you have sex? That's the question they'll ask you as a young person.
really?
No, you are not married, so you have sex.
please.
You know, you'll be looked at in a certain type of way because you do.
For one thing,
certain
yeah.
things.
I think even if you are married and you go, then it appears as though maybe you are promiscuous or you are, yeah. I mean, these are perception issues. I feel like they're getting better, slowly. No?
Maybe. One day, just one day, I hope that we get to the point where we realize that everybody has their choices to make.
Yeah.
We learn to respect everybody's choice.
Yeah.
If it lands them in trouble, you know, I feel like we should give people the chance to make mistakes and come out of them. If you make your own mistakes and you learn, you'll be like, next time I won't try this again.
No, definitely. I mean, they say experience is
It's the best teacher.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. But obviously, if you can learn from other people's experiences, then you would be okay. Let's do some of the messages. Citizen Sika says, hello ladies, beautiful submissions. Okay, he's talking about women submission. We should talk about men who are under financial pressure to meet all expectations for their family, even if the women have the means. We've talked about that a bit. We need to reconstruct society to allow both sexes to be complementary of each other. I agree, rather than extreme.
Yeah, I agree too.
Feminism.
I agree.
Toxic femininity is also found in women who cannot say sorry when they're wrong, but always expects their man to say sorry when. I feel like most of the time women are not wrong. That's why sometimes saying sorry is a little bit difficult.
This person will say, nah, Samekai.
No, I'm just another example is a woman who hates accountability and is entitled. And the same woman demands accountability from her man. These are just a few. It's true. I mean,
that's one red flag with a toxic woman. Yeah, because she demands accountability and doesn't want to give one.
I feel like I'm like that sometimes. Like I ask a lot of questions about, where are you going, what have you done. If you start asking me those questions, I'm like why are you asking me all these questions?
Yeah.
Like, it's too much. Like
no, but
I went out, I came back, I'm back. I don't understand what the
Wow.
So I'm just being honest. I mean, I feel like, and also the apology thing. I mean, I'm the kind of person that it's quite difficult to get me. It's not that I don't like apologizing. If I feel like I'm wrong, I'll apologize. It's just that to convince me that I was wrong, sometimes it's a bit of a problem because of my thinking pathway. So, like, by the time I say something,
I've
thought about it and I have the reasons. I feel like if you actually just listen to the reasons, you'll understand, and an apology won't be necessary, because like 3 and E are like, depending on how you look at it, or 9 and 6, so it's more a matter of perception. So before I get to the point where I'll say that I'm sorry, and maybe that's toxic.
That's toxic. You need to, for peace sake.
But isn't apologizing for peace sake toxic?
okay, let's move on.
No. Don't you think apologize for peace
I
sake?
don't agree with that.
Anyway, in as much as we are talking about this, we should also know that peace of mind is everything. I mean, how long can you go on?
Everybody and how I get my peace of mind from proving that I was not.
Wow.
Let's continue.
So we'll work on that, should we?
Yes.
Work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
We'll work on that.
Anyway, yeah. I think that's about it. I'm not seeing any
More message.
So there's the sorry when you're wrong, hating accountability, which is true. Because as soon as you have to be accountable for something, then you start saying that you're trying to control. We do that. We twist the narrative sometimes so that it suits us. This one said, so is paying of bride price toxic?
It's your responsibility, Massa. It's your responsibility.
I think it's nice. It's a gesture.
It's not a nice gesture. It's a responsibility because you must prove that you are not one taking the woman away just like that from the parents without showing.
But when you flip it, you're also taking the man away from his parents because now he's come to look after you and the children. You tell his mother that he doesn't have money. So why aren't you paying the groom price?
Thank you.
You're taking their potential pension.
Thank you.
That is culture. That is
so when culture serves us, then we are in front of it. That's
when it doesn't.
Then it's toxic. Also, watch it toxic.
All right. Okay. Okay, this one says there are drugs for women's libido. I've forgotten what it's called. We'll go and look for the name and come and tell you. Those of you that are struggling with, getting it on. Do we have any more messages? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for sending in your messages. Okay, somebody said you see the beginning explanation of one of your guests give. Okay, you see the beginning explanation of your guest gave. It looks like we are just as selective as to what is toxic. As for that one, it's true. To a certain level, we are. I mean, and I think that maybe there should be a consensus. I can imagine if there was like this one day in Parliament where like it was the female parliamentarians, male or people, and then we sat down and then we did like a policy guideline on toxicity. Or some of these things. I don't know if it's doable, but who knows, maybe. Anymore, childbearing and birthing is a privilege. Can I see that message? You girls should stop rubbing it in our faces. I don't think that we are rubbing it in your faces. And I think it's a privilege that we would gladly hand over to you men. Gladly. To be honest. Because if you can imagine the size of a little opening and then a human being is coming out of that opening. You are even
talking about childbirth, forgetting pregnancy. The period of pregnancy,
the throwing up, the back.
You can't lie on your back.
Yeah, so I don't know about it being
I'll transfer it gladly.
This one says, in everything you do, remember we are humans first before the gender, and every human must have equal opportunity. This is my definition of feminism. Okay, so that's the condition of how one must be panned out of our culture, tradition, and religion. It's not foreign. It's engineered here in our way of life and beliefs. It's past time to unlearn, but it can't be if these cultural, traditional, and religious practices excluded. This is the genesis of the inequality, which is true. Yes. We're going to have to change the narrative from
going to have to change a lot of
different places, different interpretations, and I think men and women are going to have to be okay. And that's what I really like about the Gen Z, the generations that are. There's a lot of boundaries that are just not there anymore. It's like suddenly, why this? Why
it's melting?
And I love the boldness of the new generation asking questions and challenging the thing. Exactly. And I encourage it. I mean, when I'm having conversations with my kids and they're coming at me like that, I'm like, yes, actually, why do we do this? You know what? Let's scrap it. Let's not do it until we can find a good reason why
it should be done.
Exactly. And so, who knows? Maybe things will change. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being. Next week, I'm going to have a conversation on single mothers. So there was a conversation going on Facebook about how men were talking to their mothers about women that they wanted to be with who were single mothers, and most of the mothers were like, no, we don't want her, we don't want born one, we don't want born two. Suddenly having children somehow decreases your value and then you're not good enough. So how about we have a conversation about single mothers, the value and the worth of a single mother, and navigating finding love and marriage in Ghana. So that's what we'll do next week. But thank you so much for joining us. My name's Animwaa Anim-Addo. We'll do this again next week. Handing you over to the news team now. Stay safe out there.